Yo, what's going on? It's Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, TBKC, and all that sweet, beautiful, wonderful shh. This should be an entertaining video as someone just has to keep on popping up. But
I hurt my leg.
be quiet, dude. Now, this is, let me help you out. The questions when it comes to pockets, right? A lot of people don't understand the rules of the 14 inches. We went over this before. But one of the things, one of the things that's was imperative to go with the 14-inch rule, and that is that the dog shouldn't be lower than 14 inches, is because really it was a protection mechanism against what we already knew about the dogs. And when I say we, that was people who really, wrote the rules for the breed and understood how the breed got to where it got to. So the 14-inch rule was basically to deter certain traits. And we also found out that those traits would be unhealthy traits. And the thing of it is dwarfism. Now, dwarfism really do... Get out the video. Take you back to the dentist. But dwarfism, of course, is where the original pockets come in at. And I do say original. This is before people start cheating. So you had the bigger dogs. Stop, Max. You had the bigger dogs, and they would get shorter by a natural process, which was pretty much dwarfism on many different levels. And that made life, a little tricky, a little difficult, because we did want the shorter dogs. But also, as you make a designer breed, which pockets were at that time, and pretty much still are, you get the other flaws and issues too. See, this is what happens when you put bad genetics out there.
But
now,
you don't subscribe to my dad's video, I'm killing you.
Would you get off the video? What is wrong with you? Yes, that's my son. But
Yeah.
but the thing is, stop, Max. Let me get through with this video. But the thing of it is that the next phase, of course, is as some dogs got shorter, and you have to remember the process. Now, when we said shorter before, we would say shorter, and we would mean that the dogs were 16, 17 inches. Little Roe was like that, 17 inches, and he was considered to be so short, but he was 17-inch dog. Well, what other people got down to is, getting down to 12 and 14 inches and below that, it came about with a lot of inbreeding of the shorter dogs. And that, for those who didn't understand it at the time, it was just a compounding of the dwarfism gene. And of course, the more you compound a gene, you'll get more severe effects. And one of the severe effects when you're talking about about the dogs is actually the actual height. The dogs get shorter, but they also have features that we love. And some of y'all have seen a video like this before. Some of those features will include bigger bone, bigger head. Let me see, bigger bone, bigger head. Of course, shorter backs. Those are features that we like. Some of the features that we don't like that come along with that is the bad bite, one testicle, sometimes no testicles, seizures, and other ill effects of the chronic arthritis situations in the joints and hips. And these were things that, as breeders, we were just shooting for the height, but oftentimes what happened is that we brought along the other effects with it. Now, also with that came along the thing, stop, boy.
And also, subscribe my dad's video, please, okay?
Okay, thank you. That was a lot nicer than you threatening to kill everybody. But now, also what happened is that, of course, people started cheating and they started adding the smaller dogs. And, if you've owned a Frenchie or you own an English Bulldog, well, you'll know why that we went at that 14-inch mark. Because, of course, if you're using those dogs, a lot of times the height will drop into the 12-inch range. Shorter. So it was something to deter those dogs from being bred into what we do also. So it made a lot of sense, But all of these things combined, it was a two-part variable. Is the way we did this is that, the 14-inch mark just seemed to be a good mark where you should stop at, and in the pockets. And y'all seen me talk about this on other videos, but I've gotten a lot of questions about this. I'm gonna tell you from personal experience, I'm not a micro person, of course. I'm not an exotic person, but I'm telling you from what I see, and if I seen anything different, I would be the first one to jump up and tell y'all something was different, and we could have had, it could have been better, this, that, and the other. I'm just going to tell you the truth. Bottom line, when it comes down to this, is that the pocket itself is a cool breed, When you get lower, you get shorter. You get shorter dogs. Then you're starting to run into health issues. And if you look at the exotics, you see that what we saw in the pockets and what people cheated to do, and it was sort of pushed away a little bit, the exotics took it to the next level. They went and added Pug, they went and added Frenchie, they went and added all these dogs, and they compounded the dwarfism genes. Now, if you look at some of the smaller breeds like Pugs, and Boston Terriers and those dogs, you will see that they have a litany of health issues themselves from dwarfism. So when they did that and they compounded all of this is why a lot of the dogs are deformed and have major issues. So with all that being said, that was the reason to deter from the usage of those dogs, to deter from, the constant compounding of the dwarfism gene, and to try to get breeders to see that, we might have to stay a little higher in order to see a healthier version of our dogs, because we know if you have a pocket, that pocket has, some kind of dwarfism genes there, and the ability to for it to really get out of control. This was why we never tried to aim for short dogs like that, as I said, and I got my concentration broke, but Little Ro was 17 inches, Paco was 16 inches, even Hallie was 15 plus inches, and those were considered to be the original short dogs, And of course you had dogs like Gargoyle that came in the 14s and stuff, but he was still over 14. I think Gargoyle was like 14 and a half. And they had, they still had their good size, good structure. Everything was working with them. Hef was in that area of about 16 inches. And the thing that we noticed is that when they started to get what quote unquote, micro or shorter, where people start talking about the 12-inch dogs and those things, you started to notice a lot more health issues. I mean, you either notice health issues or you notice death. One or the other was coming, and it's unfortunate, but it was something that we had to learn from. So as you guys go forward with your program, I would advise you to try to make 14 inches the bottom line for you as far as your pockets go, because it's just something about that height that once you go under there, you go into a different world of issues that will really plague your program top to bottom, And I know some of y'all are gonna say some of those issues, and keep in mind, I told you it's always something wrong with me. I messed up my hands, so I'm talking a little slower as I took my ooh-wee. But it's actually feeling a lot better now, though. But anyway, those issues are going to be, the inability to breed in some cases. And some of y'all who've heard some of the other videos, I talked about some of the females that we've seen that came through that were tiny, like 10-inch dogs. They could never be bred. They were basically sterile. And some of the smaller males had a hard time producing semen, So certain things start to happen, but you do see joint issues, you see bone deformities, and you see, like I say, the bad bites. It's just a lot of little things that you'll see, and basically just look at the exotics, and that's what you're seeing, the bone deformities, a lot of different things, that will not be good for the dog. And this is a reason why to stay away from going too short. It's not to say you can't love pockets. I still love pockets, but believe it or not, 2 inches is a lot in height. 2 inches, to the withers, gives that dog a lot of height, And it seems like it just takes away a lot of issues. This is one of the reasons why my program took a big setback. And I'll talk about myself personally on that, is just because, I say maybe 2013, I just noticed in my own yard that all of my females were very small. And they were starting to get hard to breed. A lot of them were like 14 inches, 55, 60 pounds, very tight, good looking girls. But, you know, it was always something when you bred them, you know. And then every time I brought in, you know, some of the bigger bitches that were, you know, had a little more size on them, there was no breeding issues at all. And you know, it was other little things that I just didn't like. I noticed that they seemed to not have the same gas tanks that the bigger dogs had. And for those who don't know that lingo, they just didn't have as much wind. They could get out there and they could run, you know, a lot better than most dogs. But my bigger dogs just seemed to handle everything a lot better, including the heat and whatever else, you know, like Mandela flips and sunbathes and everything else. So, you know, it's a difference. It's levels to it. And if you're somebody who's cognizant and very, very, you know, pushy about your dog being healthy, this is something that you have to stay on top of. And I mean, we have to look at it this way. Are we trying to make a healthy dog, or are we just trying to make something popular? Because it's a price to be paid for going so small. But I tell you what, man, that's the end of this video. I will go to the next video. I thank y'all for y'all time. Much love. Peace.